Hi, hello everybody. Today I'm thinking of basically telling you my whole story of where I started from, so that now that I'm starting this YouTube, I want you all to know who I truly am, which I very rarely hide from anybody. So, from where should I start? Should I start from the childhood or should I start from somewhere else? I do not understand where to start from. Whenever I sit and start recording now, something changes inside of me. I don't know what happens. Because when I'm sitting usually or when I'm talking to my friends, this uh, words just start flowing through my mouth. I don't know why. Because I think I need some kind of a trigger or a question trigger so that I my thoughts can form inside my head and then I can speak. But when this is completely new, like I'm talking to the camera and like no one is listening, so the energy, like no one is listening while I'm recording, so the energy that needs to come out of me, sometimes I don't know what happens. If there are no people, then it does not come out the way it usually does when I'm not recording and I'm with people. So that's that. Well, let's not talk about the story now because I don't know. I am not able to start. I'm not able to understand how do I start it, from where I should start it, or how do I mm, keep the flow so that you are not bored when watching. And I also don't want to keep it long. I want to keep it short, precise, maybe 10-15 minutes, and I tell you my whole story. So maybe I think I should I should maybe create a architecture so that I can share it sequentially in a proper contextual way. Maybe I could integrate some of the lessons that I've learned during this process. That will become too much because then I'll have to again go back to that time, think about the incidents, then think about what I learned. That could be a good idea also. Let's see. I'm not sure. I'm still not sure. I'm still trying to figure out how should I approach this YouTube thing. I want to do this definitely. I want to connect with people. I want to tell them what I have learned and be useful in some small way possible. I don't know, but this is what I feel uh, doing. This is what I always felt actually. Yeah, if you see my Instagram 4 5 years ago, I started making content from that time actually. But it eventually evolved. I was not clear on what topic or what I want to talk about. It was definitely not business that I wanted to talk about because you will find a hundred and thousands of people who are talking about business. I won't give you any much interesting insights apart from what people are telling you, but I can definitely give you insights on life because I have observed life very mm, differently. I've observed life. I've put myself in uncomfortable situations during the early phase of my entrepreneurship, and that has given me a very um, deep insights about the existence and the reality and the human nature and why people behave the way they do. I don't know, but like I have observed. I might be wrong in some of my observations, but anyways I will be giving you my observation because there can always be multiple ways to look at things. There are always multiple ways to look at things. There is no one way like how things work. Even our ancestors would not settle on one final truth. They had nine different philosophies, nine different outcomes, nine ways how people wanted to live. And that is the best thing actually. The best thing that I like about Hinduism is that Hinduism is not a religion. Like how other Christianity is a religion, Islam is a religion, Hinduism is not a religion. Hinduism is a framework. These are the nine philosophies, and then you have text backing them. Then there are a lot of the best thing is that the what do you call, the philosophy is very very ancient, and it is very complex, and it is all interconnected with each other. It has a lot of multiple layers. Like it is kind of like a divine architecture of the Vedas and the Puranas. Basically it is self-evolving. If once you evolve, the whole information evolves according to you, and the same things start making different sense at a higher level. When you are at a higher, when you reach at a higher vibrational level, there are a lot of patterns across different texts. All these mythologies like the Shiv Purans, Vishnu Purans, and all these Puranas, these basically we think that these are all stories, but these are not all only stories. There are a lot of other documents in the tantric texts which has secret keys hidden inside the Puranas. There are secret coded symbolic hidden secrets inside the Puranas that are required when doing specific mantras or rituals, which only a guru can teach. And it is built in such a way that it can protect itself. This knowledge can protect itself. You don't have to protect it. They have this multi-dimensional layer, and it is these knowledge, it needs to be approached as a seeker and not as a scholar. It is not intellectual knowledge, it is experiential knowledge. You need to experience this. मानने से नहीं होगा, जानना पड़ेगा तुमको इसको. मानना is intellectual, जानना is experiential. तुम्हें कुछ अनुभव हो तो तुम जानते हो, उसके बाद एक अनुभव के बाद तुम जान जाते हो कि क्या होता है. बट जब तुम कुछ पढ़ते हो इंटेलेक्चुअली तो तुम उसको मान लेते हो. बट ये मानने वाली चीज़ नहीं, ये जानने वाली चीज़ है. इसको तुम्हें जानना पड़ेगा, क्वेश्चन करके या पूरी तरह उसके अंदर जा. और एक ना मैंने एक रिसर्च किया था, लेट मी सी इफ आई कैन फाइंड इट हियर. लॉट ऑफ पीपल आर सेइंग दैट कि मतलब बहुत सारे लोगों का ये मिसकंसेप्शन होता है कि दिस इज ऑल माइथोलॉजी, व्हाई शुड वी बिलीव इट, एंड ऑल ऑफ दोज थिंग्स. सो ना लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द लॉजिक बिहाइंड द Sanatan Dharma. Okay. Now, let's understand the words and what it means in today's scientific. Let's see the old words in today's scientific terms. Okay. So basically, Sanatan Dharma is basically a collection of knowledge that can be used to look out for how you can navigate through this life. And like it's kind of a way of life. It is also the science of consciousness if you want to go on a deeper level. And it is also a framework to understand the reality. It uses different kinds of symbolism, stories, rituals, and metaphors to explain truths about consciousness, energy, time, space, creation, and the self itself. Now let's decode some of the core concepts in Sanatan, and then let's compare them to modern scientific and logical interpretations of that. Okay, so the Sanatan concept of Shiva. Shiva basically is a symbol for stillness or awareness. It is a symbol of stillness and awareness. And if you look it from a modern scientific or a logical interpretation, then Shiva is basically pure consciousness. It also Shiva can also explain observer effect in quantum physics. If you see quantum physics, then there is an observer effect. Observer effect means basically the particle or the light, basically light is simultaneous. Light exists simultaneously both in wave as well as particle format at the same time. And once you observe the light, then the waveform collapses and forms and creates a form. So this is the observer effect. Basically, when you are observing something, then the wave particles are converted into particles. Waves are converted into particles, basically physical. So that is Shiva. What is Shakti? Shakti is basically a symbol for dynamic energy. Shakti is symbol for dynamic energy. And in modern and scientific terms, what? Energy, matter, or Prakriti in physics. Right? Energy and matter. And Brahman. Brahman is the ultimate reality as per Sanatan. But as per science, if you compare the Brahman to science, then what Brahman is equal to? Brahman is actually unified field, what they called in science, or quantum vacuum. This empty space inside of which everything exists is the Brahman, or the unified field, or quantum vacuum, or the source code of reality. All the source code of reality is inside of this empty space, Brahman. Then Maya. Maya is illusion. In modern science, what we can call Maya, perceived reality. You can connect Maya with simulation theory, cognitive biases. This is what science describes and what our ancestors has named it as Maya. Then there is Atman. What is Atman? Atman is an individual soul. Modern science says it as fractal of consciousness, a small fractal of consciousness. It is also called as the observer or the quantum observer. As of today's quantum mechanics and everything, Atman is known as quantum observer or just the observer. Then there is karma. Karma is basically cause and effect. Law of action and reaction, conservation of energy, and Newton's third law. So basically the Newton's third law explains what karma is. If you'll do some action, there will be some kind of reaction. So I want you all to understand that what these Sanatan scriptures say is all science. You just are not familiar with the words. We are familiar with Newton's law, but they chose to call it something different. But the meaning is same. You just once you connect the meaning between the words, the modern interpretation and the old, then the whole Sanatan scriptures becomes easy for you to understand. Because it is pure science. It is way ahead of what science has reached now. It was way ahead of science. Science was not even invented when they had reached like high levels of understanding consciousness, deep things about reality. Then this is samsara. Samsara is what? The cycle of death and birth and death and rebirth again. So what this is basically? This is basically entropy, evolution, reincarnation. A theory in reincarnation is the theory of consciousness studies. They are studying reincarnation, but we have already what do you call? We already know that this is reincarnation. So basically, samsara is the cycle of birth and death, and they are calling it samsara. We are calling it entropy or evolution or reincarnation in science, but it's all the same thing. Then there is moksha. Moksha is liberation. The liberation in modern science, what it is called as self-realization, enlightenment, or breaking the simulation loop. Like we are in a simulation. If you look at it, okay, let's keep it a separate video. I'll make a separate video proving that why we live in a simulation. And we do live in a simulation because we are living the same day again and again and again in cycles. Macro and macro. But we will do that in some other video. Then there is Nad. Nad means cosmic sound. This is the primordial vibration. So basically, cosmic sound is basically similar to string theory or the resonant frequency. It is the primordial vibration. What is the nad of this universe? It is Om, right? And especially the U part of the Om, which is running in the background. And that U part is the vibration that holds all the energy or all the information. and it is the resonant frequency of the earth, which is also known as the Schumann resonance, which is, by the way, for what it was, 7.82 or something, 7.82 or 7.32, something like that. I don't exactly remember, but yeah. Then there is Bindu. What they are calling Bindu is a point of creation. What science calls it is singularity or Big Bang. See, this is all connected. Only the thing is that the words are different, but what they knew about the universe is what science is now suggesting. So, singularity we already knew as Bindu or Planck point or Big Bang. Then there is Trinity, Tridev Tridevi, Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. Okay. Now, we called it Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. We gave them forms of deities and everything. But what this actually means is, this Trinity is actually, it can be put into a lot of references, because this is very what you call layered knowledge. So Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh can be scientifically compared to creation, sustenance, and destruction of life, similar to like birth, life, and death. Or it can also be compared to the Trinity, like neutron, proton, and electron, from which everything is made. And what Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh, Brahman is made by these three only. So all the so if we also consider this as the sacred Trinity, then proton, neutron, and electron creates the whole material world or the universe that we see as we see. Then there are chakras. Chakras are basically energy centers, and in science they are nerve plexus, endocrine glands, or bioelectric fields inside our body. Then there is Kundalini. Kundalini is basically coiled energy. This is the potential energy in your DNA, dormant energy in your nervous system, which is coiled, which is the snake is coiled 3.5 times inside your Mooladhara chakra, and it is sitting there. And the whole thing of activating the Kundalini is to rise up, is through bring that snake up inside of you, make it rise inside of your spine through meditation and other techniques, so that the Kundalini is awakened. So this is the basically potential energy. Kundalini is your potential energy. It is stored inside that coiled snake. There is no coiled snake inside your body. I need you to understand. This is all metaphorical. This is all metaphorical, but this potential energy lies inside of you, and that is called as Kundalini. This potential lies in each and every one of us. Then there is Yoga. Yoga means union. Union of what? Integration of mind, body, and energy, or the systems theory. Yoga is also, if you want to interpret in modern science, it is the systems theory, which means yoga. When your mind, body, energy, and consciousness, they all come together, they unite. जब उनका योग बन जाता है, तब जाके तुम्हें reality, the way you do experience reality, because of the yoga, the union of the mind, body, and the energy and consciousness. Then there is mantra. What is mantra? Mantra is basically a sound formula. See, our ancestors knew that everything is sound energy. They knew already, they understood that everything around us works in the form of frequency and sound energy. And then they found out that basically mantras are the vibrational coding, binaural beats, neuro linguistic programming. NLP basically, yeah. That was olden times NLP, where mantras were used to hack your states of consciousness, rise your states of consciousness, and a lot of other things. There are mantras for a lot and lots of things. So basically, they created this hack so that you could say them and chant them, and you can change the vibrational frequency of your body to align yourself with the higher frequencies. That could help you get liberated. That was their main goal through all this. If you want to be liberated, if you want to attain moksha in this living time, because there is nothing after death, you have to attain liberation in this living life. You need to feel free while you are living. And that is the reason why the ultimate goal of the Atman is to attain moksha. It wants to get back to its original place where it comes from. It comes from the Brahman, because Atman is a small part of Brahman that is stuck inside your body. And the whole quest is to get it outside, to to merge it with what its true reality, true self is, which is the Brahman. And hence Aham Brahmasmi. One in the journey of you understanding the Atman, you realize that the Atman is not an independent entity inside of your body, but your body is inside the Brahman, which is the one thing that you are also a part. You are also that. That's why they say, na, ki you are that. Tatvam asi. That means what? That as in the whole Brahman. You are that. And what is the Brahman? We cannot see the Brahman. Like we can see the physical part, but this emptiness, we don't know how far it is. It is infinite, and we are that. Anyways, let's get back to this. So these mantras are basically the sound formulas. Then there are tattvas. Tattvas basically, tattva means elements. Elements of creation, atomic. In scientific, you can relate to it as atomic or molecular structures, basic energetic principles. These are all tattvas, elements of creation. Basically, elements. Then there is Purusha and Prakriti. Purusha means consciousness also, and Prakriti is nature. So, what this means in scientific terms, Purusha and Prakriti is basically observer and the observed. Purusha, consciousness, is the observer, and the Prakriti, the nature, is what is observed by the observer. Mind and matter, subject and object. The Purusha is the subject and the Prakriti is the object. So, this is what they are talking about. This is not something different. So, Purusha and Prakriti, just the names are different because we are not familiar with the name Purusha. So, we cannot relate it with consciousness, and so we cannot understand the deeper meaning behind the whole thing. But once you understand that Purusha is consciousness and Prakriti is nature, then understanding the whole thing becomes a lot easier. Let's understand now examples of symbolisms that have scientific depth. Okay, so basically Shiva's dance, Nataraja, the Shiva Tandav. Shiva Tandav basically represents cosmic rhythm, entropy, and the cycles of creation and destruction. Then 108 beads in the mala. The 108 is the ratio of the distance between Earth and the Sun to the Sun's diameter, and the distance distance between Earth and the Moon and the Earth's diameter. Also tied to sacred geometry, vibrational frequency, and numerology. Then Pancha Mahabhutas are the 5 elements basically of which everything is made up: earth, water, fire, air, and space. Solid. This correlates to solid, liquid, plasma, gas, and vacuum states of matter and energy. Solid is earth, liquid is water, fire, air is gas, vacuum states is space, and fire is plasma. Then sacred geometry, all these Shri Yantras and the mandalas that you see, these encodes these all encode Fibonacci patterns, golden ratios, fractal design, and torus geometry. These are all geometrically made. If you see all the temples and everything, that all the ancient buildings or architecture, if you see, they are all made using sacred geometry. Sacred geometry as in the Fibonacci sequence, or how the nature creates everything. Pi 3.14. The pi is actually the geometry in which everything is created. Usually what happens ki the Puranas are Mahabharata, and they are not meant to be taken as literally. They are stories, decoded stories. They are layered. They are psychological, physical, cosmic, and they have these all different types of meanings. Psychological meaning, they have physical meaning, they have different cosmic meaning, they have spiritual meanings. So all these can be uh, can be approached differently by different people with their level of intellect, with different levels of intellect, can decode everything differently. And what I think is that we need to use science to enhance the faith inside what reality is, and not replace spirituality with science. And because you need to practice this, you need to meditate, you need to sit in silence, because unless and until you try meditations, mantras, fasting, breath work, once you do all this, then your personal experience becomes the scientific evidence, because nobody can prove it to you. That's what I am saying again and again, कि इसको मानना नहीं है, मानो मत किसी को भी। ये भी लिखा है इसको मानो मत, इसको की कोशिश करो। जब तुम इसको जानने की कोशिश करोगे ना, तब तुम इसको मानोगे भी और जानोगे भी। बट तुम अगर सिर्फ इसको मानने मानने का ट्राई करोगे ना, तो देन इट विल नॉट मेक सेंस टू यू। तुम अगर इसको जानने की कोशिश करोगे, तो भाई तुम बहुत सारी चीजें मानने की तुम्हें जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ेगी, तुम अपने आप जान जाओगे। ये खतरनाक नॉलेज है। तो ये है बेसिकली, सनातन धर्म इजंट अ बिलीफ सिस्टम, इट्स एन एक्सपीरियंशियल साइंस। You don't have to believe, you have to experiment, observe, and realize everything for yourself. Just like in physics, yataha pinde tataha brahmande. As is the atom, so is the universe. Let's end it here. I hope you find the connections, and you have found out that there is some connection between the words. It is all science, guys, and it is very complex interconnected architecture where tantras and different types of texts have different secret keywords hiding in the Puranas and everything. So it is very, very complex, interconnected, and it is not at all simple as you look at it. It is very deep, very complex, very sophisticated. It is out of your mind to even decode it completely all by yourself. That's why they say that you need a guru in unlocking this, because the guru knows what symbolism means what, and what secrets are hidden where inside the Puranas and inside the different mythological stories. This is not. And also, once you are done with all this, what is written and physical, if you are not even satisfied with this, they have another secret layer to this whole thing, which only the true seeker will find. कि जो दिखता है वो तो है, but there are deeper layers to this that you cannot see through your normal eyes. You need to have a really curious, inquiring mind to understand this and to decode it. And it's not an easy task to decode. A lot of mantras and all are coded. You need to decode it first to actually use those mantras. So this becomes very easy. The surface level and all the theoretical part you can understand by yourself, but the practical part you cannot do it all on your own self. I have understood this, because you need a guru who will tell you the technicalities and the proper pronunciation of the mantras, because it's all about sound. And if you are not sounding properly, or if you are not pronunciating the sounds of the mantras properly, then that won't work how it's supposed to work. So this knowledge is something which has layers and layers of deeper meaning. The more you go inside, the more you deeper you go inside yourself, the more deeper this knowledge will start to seem. Because this, I do not have the words to say what should I say, because this is so complex and so interconnected and so interrelated, and lot of encoding and decoding and secrets are stored, Symbolisms are stored, stories, rituals. There are some rituals that are mentioned in the Puranas. They have given the procedures in the Puranas. They have given the mantra somewhere else. And once you go through all these texts, then you can actually take all the recipes from all of the text, and then you can put them together, and then you can create your own recipe. But this is not easy, not as easy as it sounds, because from the past 4 to 5 months I have been going deep down inside of this, and this rabbit hole does not stop. So the more you go deep dive, there is something and or other coming up. There is something or the other. There is no stop. There is no end. It just keeps on going inside, keeps on going inside the rabbit hole, and you see that there is so much to know, and you don't know anything. We don't know anything, and we have lost all the logic behind whatever the temples and the architectures they have created. The whole purpose has been changed. The purpose of the temples and everything was a altogether different ball game. But if we decide to, we can bring it back. But then the government has to support in bringing back the old technology of rising consciousness through temple technology. Basically, temples were built to rise your consciousness to a higher level. So that's that. Basically, Sanatan is greater than science. Where science stops, Sanatan emerges stronger than ever with all the answers that you could think of. There is no answer that Sanatan cannot. Actually, it does not give you the answer. Basically, it removes all your questions. You will find no questions in your head after that. Once you understand it truly, each and everything truly. Once you understand, once everything starts making sense, there won't be any question in your head. What is what? So basically, that's that. Then now a lot of people also, yeah, there is one more thing that I wanted to talk. A lot of people think of these deities and gods and all these. Why have they created this? So basically, I want you to know that you need to think of these deities not as gods, but a personified forces of nature or aspects of consciousness. These are all forces of nature that they have created stories around. See, not everybody is scientific. Not everybody is scientific. Not everyone understands science. Okay. So, my ancestors, what they did was they created these stories around nature's elements. Suryadev, Indradev, Vayudev. So, they all made these devtas, deities, to tell you about what they are. Now, not everybody will understand that the sun is a hot ball of fire which is doing infinite nuclear energy, nuclear reaction is going on inside of it. Nobody is going to understand that. And nobody wants to understand these stupid complex things. What does that does to my life? How will that help me in my life understanding that the sun is a nuclear ball of reaction, chain reaction? It does not help me anything. But teaching the concept of sun, which is a divine source of light because of which we all exist, and respecting him and bowing down to him can actually make us feel grateful about the nature. And that is what Sanatan teaches us. We don't need to prove anything to anybody. And if you think this is mythology and this, then you stay away from it. But if you truly want to understand what this is, see, when people say it is mythology, nobody has read a single word of it. So, I want you to understand, I want you to first try and understand what that is. Try to figure it out for your, जानने की कोशिश करो भाई, मानो मत किसी का. मैं बोल रहा हूँ इसके लिए भी मत मानो. तुम खुद जानो उसको जाके, तुम पढ़ो उसको. ये सिर्फ चीज जो है ना, ये मानने की, ये जानने की चीज है. जब तुम जानोगे ना ये सब क्या है, तब तुमको उसके अंदर का डेप्थ समझेगा कि क्या डेप्थ में जाके उन्होंने ये, मैं कह रहा हूं इसीलिए मत मानो, कोई भी कह रहा है इसीलिए मत मानो। तुम अगर खुद जानोगे ना तो तुम्हें समझेगा कि ये क्या है, ये कुछ मानने की चीज भाई। ये देव और ये सब मैं पहले भी बोल चुका हूँ कि दीज आर ऑल कॉन्सेप्ट्स क्रिएटेड फॉर यू टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट दिस इज हैपनिंग। सूर्यदेव हर रोज आता है, चंद्रमा हर रोज रात को आता है, ये सब क्या आता है, ये सब क्या दिखता है, दीज आर ऑल द क्वेश्चंस वन माइट हैव कि ये क्या है। And to resolve all those questions, they created stories, they created deities from these natural elements, and they made it easier for people to navigate and to end their question. Advaita Vedanta is one of the philosophies that ends all the questions of, which is a complete philosophy in itself, and which which dissolves all your questions, A to Z, all your questions. But no one else can dissolve the questions. You yourself will dissolve the questions. Your questions will dissolve themselves inside your head once you understand the philosophy. A lot of people have tried, and there are modern commentaries also. Like Swami Vivekananda is there, Osho is there, then Sadhguru is there, and then there are a lot of new age sadhus. Abhay Singh is there. So these are all people, they have tried and understood this, they have integrated, they have logically found a connection. I found a connection logically in this. If you ask my friends, if you ask any of my friends, I'm going to put this video also. I'm going to ask my friends to tell them on video that how Nastic I was, how rejective I was of this whole theory, and I was very, very rejective of the idea of God. But I was ignorant ना, because मैंने पढ़ा ही नहीं था कुछ, जो मुझे बताया गया था, हम सबको किसी ने बताया है कि ये ऐसा है, इट इज माइथोलॉजी एंड इट इज एवरीथिंग, एंड फिर हमने खुद से ही वो किसी ने बताया और हमने मान लिया। किसने बताया? अंग्रेजों ने बताया। तो हमें उन पे विश्वास नहीं करना है, वी विल हैव टू चेक इट फॉर आवर सेल्फ। हमें अपना खुद का ओपिनियन बना, खुद के लिए सोचो, खुद का देखो, और खुद उसको जाके खुद उसको जज करो। तुम्हारे कल्चर का कोई अंग्रेज आके तुम्हें बता रहा है कि ये ऐसा है, माइथोलॉजी है या ये है, और तुम उसकी बात मान रहे हो, इसके ऊपर सोचो। अगर सच में माइथोलॉजी है तो तुम खुद उसको पढ़ो और तुम खुद उसको माइथोलॉजी बोलो, देन आई विल एग्री विथ यू। बट कोई अंग्रेज आके बोल रहा है कि ये माइथोलॉजी है, दिस इज द लैंड ऑफ स्नेक चार्मर्स, और ये सब लोग अंधविश्वासी है, दिस इज ऑल, देन you are wrong, my friend, because you are listening to somebody else's opinion of your own ancient religion or ancient philosophies or ancient knowledge, and you are taking their word for it, which is the most stupidest thing I think we all have done. I was also one of the most stupidest people in that terms, because I was rejecting the whole superiorly, the most supreme form of knowledge that I would say which exists in this world. So I think I've made my point, because this is what it is, and I have मैंने उसको जाना है और माना नहीं है, और तुम भी मत मानो, ना कि अंग्रेजों का मानो, ना कि मेरा मानो, तुम भी खुद उसको जानो। जब तुम जानोगे तो तुम अपने आप मान जाओगे, तुम्हें मानने की जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ेगी, तुम जान ही जाओगे पूरी चीजें। So that's all from my side, guys. This, I don't want to force anything on anyone, but if you think, don't just judgment it or label it as mythology or something. Whenever somebody asks you about Indian scriptures, just tell them that it has a lot of knowledge in it, and I don't know what it exactly is. Should be your answer, but it is divine, and it has a lot of information and knowledge about this reality and the existence and each and everything on the earth. There is some, in this universe there is everything written inside of that, and that I want you to understand, and that I want you to know, not because of my word, but I want you to go and find it for yourself. We will have to, as an Indian, we will have to go and find it out, because this will help you live a very life without the mental fog. I cannot tell you anything more than this. I think this is enough. I think this should, whatever I am speaking, I'm speaking through my heart. I don't have any personal agenda behind this. I don't want to force you into anything, and nobody can force anyone into anything. But this is what I am. This is what I have felt deeply, and that's what I am trying to express here, and that's that. Now it is up to you. If your soul is calling for answers, then you will find it here. वो कहते हैं ना इसमें कि ज्ञान के चक्कर में कहाँ कहाँ घूमोगे, घूम सब जगह घूमोगे तो वापस यही आओगे. बिकॉज ज्ञान, रियलिटी और अखंड ज्ञान अगर कहीं है तो वो हमारे पास ही है, इंडिया में. एंड वी कैन बी सेल्फ सफिशिएंट. We are self-sufficient from the beginning. It is just an illusion of the West is good and the traditional is mythology or andhavishwas is not the truth. And I request all of you to look into that yourself. पर और कहूँगा, मानो मत जानो. मानना दिमाग का काम होता है, जानना आत्मा का काम होता है. I'll end it here. See you all. Goodbye. Har Har Mahadev.